Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to walk you through how to set up OBS or Open Broadcast Studio. So the system I am working on is a Windows 7 machine and it is a desktop. If you have a laptop, feel free to use your included mics and webcams. In my setup right now, I do have external mics and webcam set up since I am running this off of a desktop PC. So the first thing I'm going to do is open up Chrome, and this also works in Firefox, and search for OBS project. So OBS project is the project that pushes out the open broadcast software, which is what we will use. So it should be your first result. Be aware of the ad. So we're looking for https obsproject.com. So click here. And it gives you options for Windows, Mac, and Linux. And since we are on a Windows system, I'm going to download the Windows version. However, if you are on Mac or Linux, feel free to click your respective link and follow the instructions. So for Windows, click and it's going to download, and I already have it set to download in my downloads folder. If not, navigate to where you wish the download to save. I'm going to click save. And as this downloads, which it looks like it's already finished, I do want to point out there is this quick start guide here, which is a little lightning bolt, which is 4 steps to give you like tips and tricks for getting you all set up. We also have the OBS Studio overview, which is a much more detailed set of documentation. So especially as you become more advanced with the software, it's a great place to learn new stuff. You can also visit forums. So community members will post questions and others will answer. You also have frequently asked questions, which some can be seen at the bottom of this quick start guide. And then because this software is free and open source, if you would like to contribute to their project, you're more than welcome to. However, it's not required. So this quick start guide, again, 4 steps, easy to follow. And it does, the one thing I want to point out is if you are running Mac OS, you will need an extra app to capture desktop audio, so I recommend clicking into the quick start guide and clicking on this link in order to download that app. And here's just a shot of the overview guide. So again, much more rich with documentation. But now we'll move on to the actual install. So software has finished, so I'm just going to double click from here in Chrome. If not, you would need to navigate through your Windows Manager. I'm going to hit run, but it's just asking, since it wasn't installed with the Microsoft Store, do I still want to run it? I'm going to select yes. So this page is just letting me know, welcome to OBS Studio. This is my version number. Next to continue. This is the license agreement. It is free open source software. However, you are welcome to read this before hitting I agree. I'm going to install it on my C drive and click next. It does give the option for some detected plugins. However, I know the system I am working on, I've previously tried to install these plugins and they failed, so I'm going to leave these unchecked. However, I do recommend selecting to install any pre-detected plugins for your system because they may help with your recording experience. So I'm going to hit install and run through the installation wizard. And this may take a little bit just depending on the system. So now that OBS has been installed, you can either launch it right away or launch it later just by clicking or unclicking this box. So I'm going to unclick it because I want to launch it manually, and then hitting finish. So our install should be done. We now have a desktop shortcut, and this is the logo. My system is running a lot of things right now, so that's why the logo probably didn't appear, but it normally is there. So I'm just going to X out of Chrome, navigate down to my start menu, and I see OBS Studio right here. So I click that in order to launch. And so you may get this auto configuration wizard, and if you do, great, we'll go through it right now. If you don't, then you may need to configure stuff manually. But I do recommend, if this auto config wizard shows up, go through it. So I'm going to click yes. And so you have two options, depending on what you want to use this program for. Since I will primarily be using this setup for recording and not streaming, I'm going to select the second one. However, if streaming, like live streaming and broadcasting, is your preferred method of recording, then the first one would be acceptable. For video settings, this is telling us our output settings. So the larger the better. However, it also depends on your system. Less powerful machines may not be able to output into a higher definition resolution. So usually whatever it gives you as a default is preferable. However, you do have the option to change it. So I am going to change mine to 1920 by 1080, which is higher than what my monitor can currently handle. And then FPS means frames per second. So the default, either 60 or 30, but 60 when possible is the default and is preferred. And click next. And so it looks like it's running a test recording, just to try to optimize the best settings for my machine. So based on its testing, it says my recording should be a high quality but medium file size. My base canvas should be 1920 by 1080. And my output should be 1280 by 720. And my frames per second is 30. So I'm just going to hit apply. Again, for the purposes of our video, we're just creating instructional material. We're creating easy ways to use video to reach our students. So the defaults will be more than satisfactory for that purpose.